The Jimmi Wanjigi interview on Citizen TV. Moto kuliko pasi ya makaa. And the host of this interview, Yvonne Okwara, did an excellent job. What happened to this lady? Nowadays she's on fire. And what a revealing interview. It held me captive. Which is not easy these days. And I'm certain it held many, many Kenyans captive. So, what is it that Jimmi Wanjigi said? Okay, for starters, he gave us the history of his relationship with William Samoei Ruto and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. According to Wanjigi, the two came to him in distress. They were in serious trouble, facing very serious charges at the International Criminal Court at The Hague, the ICC. And so Uhuru and Ruto came to Wanjigi telling him, please save us from the ICC. And one of the things you can do to save us is to make us president and deputy president. Help us to become president and deputy president. And all these problems we are facing will go away. That is what the billionaire told us, Bwana Wanjigi. And so what went wrong? Now this part of the story, Bwana Wanjigi was a bit economical. He was a bit economical with the words. But he said that what happened is that Uhuru and Ruto did not honor their side of the deal. Because Jimmy delivered. Uhuru and Ruto landed at the presidency. Now it is not clear what Ruto and Uhuru's side of the deal was. But we can guess it had something to do with business. Doing business with the government. And very interesting, Wanjigi himself told us that he promised he would never make public their private arrangement. Okay? And then quickly added, unless something went wrong. Unless they did not honor their side of the bargain. Now I know we all love Bwana Wanjigi very much these days. However, I don't know if he realizes that actually what he was telling us is that the crux of our problems started with him, Bwana Wanjigi, when he helped these two gentlemen win the presidency in 2013. Because instead of getting a brand new beginning, what we got was same old, but this time on steroids. Now I know the juiciest part of this interview was the part where Bwana Wanjigi told us that they have a plan, a very solid plan of removing Ruto and his regime, and that this plan was finalized even before the Gen Z revolution started. I am very much aware that that is the juiciest part of this story. And of course I'm going to come back to it a little later. So please stay with me. We'll get there very shortly. But first, there is something else which came out of this interview that I found more than fascinating. Super fascinating. And that is the current relationship between Jimmi Wanjigi and Raila Amolo Odinga. Well, now what came out very clearly is that the relationship between the two buddies currently can only be described as being cold, baridi. What does that mean? What does it mean when your friendship with somebody becomes cold? Well, it means that you may still be talking, you may still be discussing, you may still be having meals together, but things are not the same. Okay? Kuna mahali mambo yameharibika. The impression I got from Jimmy is that he seems to believe that Raila is a bit confused, because Wanjigi is sure that Raila has not joined the Ruto government. However, Raila himself has told us that he was approached to save the Ruto presidency. And so if we are to be honest with ourselves, actually, this situation looks very confused. What is really going on here? Is Raila assisting Ruto? Is there a kind of agreement, a kind of handshake agreement? Has Raila agreed to assist Ruto, but then also to be the opposition at the same time? What is it? Hey, this is a real mystery. Now, the truth is, Bwana Wanjigi knows all these major players very, very well. He knows former President Uhuru Kenyatta, he knows Raila, and he knows Ruto. And so, there was something Wanjigi was not telling us. Actually, there was a place Wanjigi did not want to go when discussing this issue during this citizen interview. And I can guess what the problem is. Okay? And this one, I don't know how to put it, but I'll try. Now, it seems that Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, was the key in this deal between Ruto and Raila. Because there's definitely a deal. How can there be no deal? And the foremost previous senior officials of the ODM party are now cabinet secretaries. How can there have been no deal? That one is difficult to buy. Indeed impossible to buy. So there was a deal. And it seems that Uhuru played a very major role in brokering this deal. And that is where iko maneno. Because the question is, Uhuru Kenyatta brokered this deal as who? Yes, he's a former president, but for all intents and purposes, he has retired from politics. Well, the answer is complicated. The answer to that mystery is very complex. It would seem that there are some outside forces that called in a favor from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta had no option but to assist these dark, unknown, mysterious forces. And so, it is highly likely that he then approached Raila and they sat down and addressed the political reality of what Uhuru wanted done, which was to save the sinking Ruto presidency. And it would appear that what came out of these lengthy discussions and strategizing was what we have now. Confusion. Yeah, assist the Ruto government, but make sure it does not look like we are assisting the Ruto government. In public, remain an active opposition, always criticizing the government, but meanwhile, we are actually assisting Ruto to survive. What? But there's something here that really bothers me. Okay? Now, imagine the following situation. You need help from somebody who is not your friend. Okay? From somebody you can't even stand. Okay? So when you approach them, what are you going to tell them? Well, it's pretty obvious. You're going to tell them, okay, I'm going to assist you. Okay? And then you'll pause and leave your sentence hanging. And then the other person will get the hint. And then they'll ask, what do you want in return? You have agreed to assist me. You have agreed to help me. What do you want in return? And then they will tell you, I will assist you on condition that you do 1, 2, 3 for me. Yeah, it's actually a negotiation. And so, what disturbs me is what kind of negotiation went down behind the scenes before this deal was struck. Because I am sure it did not have the interests of Kenyans, the vast majority of long-suffering Kenyans, in mind. Because if it did, why is Finance Bill 2024 coming back? Through the back door. Ruto has told us openly that there are some aspects of Finance Bill 2024 which are going to come back. And indeed the Finance CS, Bwana John Mbandi, has told us the same. That there are some good things in Finance Bill 2024. Really? Are the good things in Finance Bill 2024? Which ones? So, Kenyans mumewachwa kwa mataa. We have been left hanging. Okay? And some characters have gone and done a deal. Oh, this is not good. But back to Bwana Wanjigi. It would seem that Bwana Wanjigi was not in this deal. And in fact what he's doing is that he's being consistent, because he has been telling us for a long time that there's a problem with the economy. And that actually we are on the road to disaster. He has been telling us that for months, always repeating the same message. And so it would appear that Bwana Wanjigi is not on the same side as these very powerful, dark, mysterious, unknown forces, yeah, that are controlling or seem to be controlling things in Kenya. Now that is a surprise, because I hope you realize that when Uhuru and Ruto went to see Jimmi Wanjigi the first time, yeah, before 2013, asking him to assist, I hope you realize that at that time, one of the reasons they were doing this is because they knew Wanjigi had contacts with these powerful forces. Okay? That should be clear. But then now it seems Wanjigi has turned. Now that raises a lot of questions. Why has he turned? Why? Actually, people who turn are people with a lot of political clout. Bwana Wanjigi does not have political clout in Kenya. Okay? So, why? What has he seen that the rest of us have not seen? That has really been disturbing me. Yeah, and actually it's a very disturbing question that demands an answer. Yeah, at least like a theory that will neatly explain it. But I'll be honest with you, even like a theory, I don't have yet. The only thing I can do is what I never like doing on this channel. Wild speculations. Although when people get desperate, even speculations are allowed. At least kidogo, a little. Okay? It would seem that the world financial system is about to change. Okay? There are many people who are saying that. And these people are saying that it will change to favor the long-suffering people of the world. And let us remember that Bwana Wanjigi has become a billionaire, yeah, because of his gift, his ability of seeing things before others see them. You see an opportunity before other entrepreneurs see it. Sometimes you create it on your own. And so, we must also respect who we're dealing with here, Bwana Jimmi Wanjigi. That is why we have no option, really, but to take Wanjigi very seriously when he tells us that Ruto is going. Okay? Even if you don't believe Chris Kumekucha, you have to believe Jimmi Wanjigi. Why? Because he has a track record of being ahead of the game. That's how the man has become a billionaire. Because granted, anybody can get government tenders. Anybody can maneuver and get contacts and get huge government tenders and get rich. But not everybody can do that and survive as long as Wanjigi has and become a billionaire, a multi-billionaire in dollar terms in the process. Not everybody. So we have to concede that, and we have to take it into consideration. And therefore, what we seem to have before us is a very interesting contest. Because on one side of that contest, all the characters' teammates, we have Ruto, Raila, and Uhuru. And on the other side, we have only Jimmi Wanjigi. And so if you're a gambling man or a gambling woman, I am not. But if you are, where are you going to put your money? Which side are you going to back? Yeah, to win? Let me leave that one totally to you. And now, let us move to the juiciest part. Yeah, the Wanjigi plan, which appears to be secret, to remove the Ruto regime from power. But before we do that, I have a very short message from our generous sponsors. LemFi, formerly Lemonade Finance. Now this is an app for sending money to your loved ones back home. And you can send money to at least 10 African countries. Kenya, of course, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda, Senegal, Benin Republic, and Tanzania. And there are a couple of advantages here. 0 transaction fees, one of the best exchange rates on the market. Direct transfer either to a bank account or even to Mpesa. And then, wait for this one, you can also receive money from Kenya. And again, 0 transaction fees. I suggest that you try it out. You may just like it. And if you can use my code, which you can see on your screens right now, KUMEKACHA, not Kumekucha, KUMEKACHA, you'll be able to receive $30 back for your first transaction that is above $100. Try it out and let me know how it goes. Right, back to what we're discussing. Now, according to Jimmi Wanjigi, yeah, the hierarchy in Kenya at the moment is the people right at the top. Next comes our constitution, our 2010 constitution. And then below that are the leaders we have elected. Allegedly. Allegedly elected. At least some of them. Okay? What that means is that the boss is the people. Okay? And this is the way our constitution has been structured. Now guess what? I totally agree with Wanjigi. Whichever way you want to look at it, that is the way it is. And that is why the same constitution tells us that the people can exercise their power either through this constitution or directly. Directly means they bypass the constitution. They don't use the constitution. They just exercise their power directly. And this is why I said in a previous video that the Kenyan constitution is very unique in the world, because it is the only one in the whole wide world, yeah, that envisages a revolution by the people. There is no other constitution on the face of the earth that does that. Okay? And that is why I totally agree with Wanjigi. But now we have to ask the question. Yes, we acknowledge all that. But how exactly? What plan is this that Jimmi Wanjigi has of removing the Ruto presidency? You know, earlier today we did a poll, and I believe you can see the results on your screens right now. The majority of Kenyans believe that this Wanjigi plan, whatever it is, will work. Okay, I can understand why people believe that. They believe that because of the current political situation. The Ruto UDA Kenya Kwanza government is very shaky. Yeah, very shaky. It has not stabilized. And there are no signs of it stabilizing. Despite the fact that they have 4 bigwigs from the ODM party, donated by one Raila Amolo Odinga. But still, things are very shaky. And of course, things on ground have completely changed. Kenyans are very politically aware. The Gen Zs, who are very many, have joined our political conversations. So things can never be the same again. They can never return to what they were. Although Ruto handlers seem to believe, because they're working very hard, to restore things to what they were. They seem to believe that it is possible to restore things. I need to tell them, it's impossible. Anyway, I believe that is the reason why most believe that Wanjigi's plan will succeed. But what is this plan exactly? He told Yvonne Okwara during the Citizen interview that he cannot reveal what his plan is. Yeah, and it makes sense. But actually, by looking at the recent past involving this Jimmi Wanjigi, we can have a rough idea of what it is. Because the billionaire has already been talking to us very frequently about our odious debt. Okay? About our debt that is illegal. Has no legal basis whatsoever. And so my guess is that he has found a way, using legal means, to declare the Ruto presidency illegal. And there are a few ways where one can go about this. The most obvious is to open the servers revealing the 2022 presidential election results. But then of course we know that is impossible. Because the people holding the key, Ruto has the key to those servers. Of course he will deny, but the truth is, if he decides the servers should be opened, they'll be opened yesterday or the day before yesterday. So that one we know cannot work. But that was just an example. Bottom line, Jimmy has figured out a way to legally declare the Ruto presidency illegal. For any keen observer, there are a few questions that one must ask. Jimmi Wanjigi seems to be so determined. Indeed, he is even risking his life. So, why is this man so determined? What has he seen that the rest of us have not seen yet? What is driving him? What is putting this fire in his stomach? There must be something. And I'm certain, whatever it is very, very big. Okay? Now, very quickly before I go, this is the final call for my latest offer. For some highly sensitive videos, a huge collection of them. Right from Jimmi Wanjigi himself. Some secrets about his past that will really shock you. To the General Gola chop accident, was it really an accident? To the George Saitoti chop accident, was it really an accident? To stuff about the aborted coup of 1982 that you have never heard anywhere else before, as well as very topical, current, sensitive information, like aspects of the character of President William Samoei Ruto that have never been made public. Indeed, I would not be exaggerating if I tell you this is the hottest collection of sensitive information in one place that I have ever put together in my almost 20 years with the Kumekucha brand. Oh yes, and that's not an exaggeration. Now you can see details on your screens right now. For only Kenya shillings 1999 or $15, you can have this pop inside your inbox, your email inbox, a collection of sensitive videos like no other. And now we have entered the kipindi cha lala salama, the final call, your final chance to grab this opportunity. Don't miss it. Don't be left out. Act immediately. The details are also repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube and also in the comments area. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.